one of the biggest challenges people have, right, in terms of whether it's you're doing something new, it comes down to the mindset shift, right? Kind of like we're talking about, where it's is going into it understanding that if you want something different that you've never had before, you've got to do something that you've never done before. You know, for some people that could be, you know, increasing the number of calls they make in a day, right? It could be learning how to do proper email campaigns, you know, or like introductory emails, cold emails. Some people it could be, you know, you just got to work in weekends, right? Doing trainings on weekends, things like that, until the job is done. So it's about that. I talk a lot about, especially with my team, is that, you know, the skill versus will. It's kind of like, you know how to do the job, you know what it takes to be successful, but are you going out and executing it until, you know, it becomes second nature for you?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's probably different per rep. So you manage how many reps? How many reps do you have?
6 plus 2 junior AEs right now, so 8 total.
So it's probably difficult to be onboarding a couple new hires, working with some tenured reps that came here from either Verizon or AT&T, T-Mobile.
Yeah.
And once you dig into that, is it a skill thing or a will thing? What are some things we can do as sales coaches, as managers, to help identify if it's a skill or a will, and help get things out of the way, block and tackle?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a manager, you always, if you have somebody that's struggling, you have to look analytically at the business or at what the rep is doing. You know, from you know, are they doing the necessary inputs, right? So that's the skill piece or the will piece, right? Are they doing the activities within their control every single day? Making the dials, sending the emails, you know, making follow-up calls, executing on a proper prospecting cadence, that kind of stuff. And if they are, then you got to dial into, you know, what is it exactly they're saying on the phone, and sitting down with them one-on-one to find out, okay, is it something that's in the email or on the phone call or in front of the customer that isn't being said that we can work around and coach them appropriately, right? But if it's, you know, if it's all those things, you've applied the proper coaching and training, and you can tell yourself as a manager, as a coach, I've done all these things, but the changes aren't being executed upon, or they can't be executed upon, that's when it becomes, you got to decide if it's really something that, is this person right for that role, right?
Just yesterday, Brian Bailey and I and Emmanuel were talking about, he wants his team to prospect more, set more meetings. Before I dug into doing a skill builder on setting more meetings and blitzing and bringing in a partner, I took a couple steps back and I said, okay, what time are they calling? Are they getting a bunch of voicemails?
Yeah.
Have we thought about kind of 8x8, 5x5? So it gave us a chance to solution sell and demonstrate kind of questioning strategies before we dig into. So is that something you do when a rep says, I'm having a hard time with time management, I'm not setting enough meetings? What are some things you can do to dig into the problem more, to understand it from their point of view?
What if time, I mean, those two different things, right? Time management and setting meetings, they can kind of go hand in hand, but, you know, with the time management thing, one exercise I have reps do, especially when they're new, is I call it the Sports Center Highlights, which I learned from my very first manager that I did as a rep. And it's literally, it sounds crazy at first on paper, right? It's like, I've got to do what? You know, a lot of people, right? But it's literally from the time you start your day, so it could be 8, 9, whatever it is, to the time you end your day, you're doing basically an accounting of time. Where are you spending your time? Right, so all the people that join my team start out doing Sports Center Highlights, where it's literally an accounting pretty much by the half hour of what you did for the day. They typically do that, you know, if they progress through it and they, you know, can manage time effectively and I can observe that, then, you know, I move them off it. But if it's something that we need to, you know, coach on, right? Because a lot of people will find like, man, you know, an 8-hour day, I spent 3 hours scrubbing leads. Okay, that's fine. Like, I'm sure that's probably what it took, or maybe I need to dig into that process. What are you doing to scrub the lead? Is there a better way to show you, or is it literally just I need to coach you on A time versus B time versus C time?
I'm curious if anyone who you said if you pulled them off of that, if anyone's doing that on their own during some downtime. It's a very valuable exercise.
I don't know. Yeah, I would have to go back and ask. So
Good. If you're just joining us, Shane McKenna with Spring University here with Logan Kent, very successful sales manager in Chicago. Logan, thanks for sitting down with us.
Absolutely, my man.